Hello, everyone. Welcome to Alphawisdom. I'm Mystic Cassandria, and this is lesson 168. We're still with the health in the hands. That's what it's called today, health in the hands. And I hope you are enjoying this. And if you're interested in doing reading yourself eventually, perhaps this will be of a great help to you. I remind all of you that this is only a guide. You don't avoid your doctor or the medical person that is in your life when you have one of these situations, these problems, okay? We have quite a bit to cover today, so we will now get started. Here we're looking at the intro for you, and as you see, just a little history here. Palmistry, from a health perspective, is a relatively new phenomenon, driven to a large extent by scientific papers published in recent years. The hand gives advance warning of the onset of most disease processes. Okay, so let's leave this and go right on. We're going to be talking about other signs of health concerns. Little information that you can follow along as we do this. And we see here at the top, we're talking about the nails. We haven't touched on that yet. I will be getting to that, but we are starting with this. As you see, this is very important because some of your fingernails will have markings on them, such as dark spots, horizontal lines, or indentations, or they may actually have thin lines. Whatever the case may be, it's important that if it appears on one nail, it does not count. It must be, to be considered significant or important, it has to be in all of your fingers. No exceptions to that, because what could happen with one finger or two fingers? Maybe it was injured and you forgot, or you do remember. So remember, all fingers must be involved, whatever the problem is. Okay, going on to the two types that I've offered for you. The first one, Bow's lines. Bow's lines. And you can see here an example. These are the fingers. Now, I just did one rather than doing all. These are like elevations in the level. Elevations, and it's hard. It's very thick. Bow's lines, they move horizontally. And as you can see there, it says for Bow's lines, one of the more ridges running horizontally across the nails mark a period where nail growth was interrupted. And this is due possibility because of a temporary illness, or it could have been some shock to your system, such as an accident, could have been an automobile accident or some kind of accident, or an operation, or emotional trauma. And when I say operation, that's when you go into the hospital for an operation, that kind of operation. So that's what it looks like. And it can clear up. But as long as there's an issue with you for one of these interruptions here, it'll stay. Okay? Let's look at the next one. A series of vertical finer lines to make a distinguish here. They're very, very thin lines, Okay, they're common, and it is a sign of anxiety, overactivity of the nervous system. It could be adrenal stress. Okay, so that may occur. We're talking about this one, fine lines. And we take the last one. People may be curious about, sometimes it's called the half moon, or it could be just called the clear moon. Okay, this is a healthy palm. It won't be the color red. I wanted to just show you that there's a form in this drawing here. Okay. And it's always found on the thumb. Very common. No ridges, plain, clear thumb, or white spots. There are no white spots there. But you do have this clear moon. That always means good health. Now, if you have it on all the fingers, that's always also good health. Okay? So we leave this and move right on to the next thing. Okay, these are the areas we're going to cover here so you can follow along. We're going to be talking about migraine, spinal, neck, or general back problems, long ring finger, and weight problems before we close today. Okay, let's take a look at the first one, migraine. And what I put here for you is what has caused this. And as you see here the headline and the lifeline are joined. Then in the color green, the lifeline branches off first. It's like it's headed to the ring finger, but it stops. And while it stopped, before it stopped, here comes another one coming right on and does a slight curve. But here comes a strong one underneath. We call that overlapping. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But what we call our attention to, I hope you can see these little red dots here. Let me see if I can bring it in a little closer. Red dots right in here, between these two lines. Okay, hopefully you see it. A series of dots in between the overlapping headlines. A series of dots in between the overlapping headline. That's a person who has one job, doing well, but stress on it, and here comes another job they have been given, and they're like a perfectionist. They want to do the job and do it quite well. So they do it. But that's stress on the body, stress on the mind. So it's just showing you the stress. And this is continuing. They realize it, but they like working and they just keep moving. So that's what it is. If it's someone who works a lot, can't say no, and they do it well, you might find this here. Now, it's okay, but if it has these dots here, they need to do something about it, because you see here it says overwork. Let's go on to the next one. All right, spinal, neck, general back problems. Okay, now some palmists think of the lifeline as your spine, from the neck all the way down. Okay. Now, lower back problems, and this represents the lower back area here. And these are islands on it. It may happen there. And as you know, an island tends to take away your energy. You don't have the energy that you are comfortable with or you used to have. Okay, this appears at the lower end of the lifeline. And to compensate that, or to help yourself come out of that situation, try not to sit too long. If you have a sitting job, get up, stretch if you can, or move about, or change the hours how you're working. You still get the job done, but it'll be less stress on the body. And also another thing would help, perhaps maintaining stomach muscles as much as you can. Because if you don't have muscles there, then that leans toward the back problem. Okay, let's leave this one and let's go on to our next one. Long ring finger protects against heart disease. All right, here's the long ring finger. The red represents this finger going up. When it's long, it's almost the length of this one. It was already long, but I wanted to point it out for you. Higher levels of testosterone, and we're talking about a man's hand, not women. It protects against heart disease. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Now, I want to point out what tends to lean toward heart disease. This finger, when it is the same length as this, it's in balance, or if this is longer, then there might be an issue with heart disease in early adult life, not when you're younger, not when you're older, but early adult life. But this is a good thing. So a man's hand, if you have this long ring finger, that means you have higher levels of testosterone, and indirectly you are protecting yourself against a heart disease. So that's quite interesting. Okay, let's go on to our last one. Weight problem. Now, many of us have that. In fact, probably, I'd say 3/4 of people have some weight problem, or at least they feel they do. Now, look at this. Now, I've sectioned the finger off to separate the sections here. This is the first flange, second flange, third flange. That's like saying first space, second space, third space. When this is swollen here, or it's thick, the lower part, that indicates there's a weight problem. It'll show in the fingers. Yes, it will. Now, if the person has battled with weight since childhood, this will show puffiness on the lower flange on the back of the hand. So if you turn your hand over, you'll see puffiness around those fingers, the back of the fingers, okay? That's what it is. So I think we all know the story on this. This gives a propensity, when you have that, for comfort eating. You're eating, but it's not like it's a planned eat. You're just eating. It's comforting. If the person has battled with weight since this time and it's lower there, it's a great idea to try to establish a better diet, which means better nutritional value and avoidance of boredom will help. If you are sitting or you don't have anything planned to do, you're not busy, there is this tendency to just go ahead and comfort eating. That's a name for it. All right. Well, that comes to the end. I think we ran over, but I wanted to complete all of this today. All right. Well, thank you for watching. And if you like this, please give a thumbs up and, of course, share and subscribe. Well, as usual, be happy. Thanks. Bye.